Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are getting and reviewing the UCS Jango Fett's Slave 1. I was planning on doing just like a regular review of the Slave 1, however, kind of like last year's AT-AT video, I kind of want to make like these May 4th purchases kind of like a special vlog style video rather than just like a normal review. So yeah, let's go get the Slave 1. Right off the bat, something very similar to last year's AT-AT vlog, that's cold and rainy. Why are all my vlogs involving the rain and the cold? Like I just said, cold and rainy, the audio here is probably terrible. It kind of reminds me of last year's Pennsylvania vlog where it was freezing the whole time. Y'all didn't see much of it, but it was freaking cold. By the way, before I forget to let you guys know, I did make it to the bus stop. Okay guys, we finally made it to the area of the mall. I just need to walk up there because unfortunately the bus stop is all the way on the other side of where the mall actually is. Okay guys, we made it. It just dawned on me that I never showed you guys what the mall I go to looks like on the outside. Finally made it, and that was like AIDS. Freaking cold, windy, and rainy. The trifecta of the worst weather ever. Alright guys, you got the set. We're back home. Let's take a look at the box. Alright, here it is. Here's the box of the UCS Jango Fett's Slave 1, or Starship. I personally be calling it Slave 1 in this review, but you can call it whatever you want. It is at 75409, rated for 18 and up, and it has 2,970 pieces and 2 figures. Also, we have the amazingly weird looking digital render of the Slave 1. I don't know why these renders make the sets look worse than they are in person, but it just makes the Slave 1 look a little elongated in my opinion. I guarantee you the built model is going to be so much better. I really hope LEGO fixes or just gets rid of these renders because, man, I really want them to just take physical pictures of the sets. It is so much better than the renders. Here's the top of the box. The most notable thing you can see is the presentation of Jango Fett and young Boba Fett. Here's the one boring side of the box. Here's the other side of the box with a shot of the Slave 1. Finally, here's the back of the box with one more shot of the Slave 1 on its stand. You have a good look at Jango and Boba, and you also get the dimensions of the set, as well as some lifestyle pictures, as well as some more shots of the Slave 1. So yeah, without any further delay, let's get on to the review of the UCS Jango Fett's Slave 1. Alright, so in the set we get 2 figures, Jango Fett and young Boba Fett. Currently, both of these figures are exclusive to the set. However, don't be surprised if they come up in another set because the instruction manual claims that they are new and not exclusive. To start off, we have young Boba Fett, and honestly, this is a pretty disappointing figure in my opinion. I'm not one of those people who hates everything LEGO puts out. I'm generally pretty positive with them. However, this is not a great figure. It's not the worst thing in the world because obviously I'm a Funko FNAF fan and I have to deal with them a lot, so I have a lot of leniency. However, again, this is not the greatest figure ever. There are some good things and there are some bad things. Starting off with the good, his skin tone is a lot better and a lot more accurate than the prior versions of young Boba Fett. Those versions were white and yellow. This is a lot more accurate to the actual character in universe. Also, what's pretty good in my opinion is the color of his torso and legs. I think this is a lot more accurate to, again, his suit in universe. I think that the prior versions were a bit too blue, but I think this one is a lot better in my opinion. And finally, I think this is a pretty good face print for young Boba. Now to the bad, he should have had dual molded legs, like without a doubt. Dual molded legs should have been a lock here. So the reason why apparently he doesn't have dual molded legs is because the Slave 1 has a lot of new pieces. And while I prioritize builds first and foremost in UCS sets, I do think that he should have still gotten dual molded legs. Another negative is this face print right here. I understand that a lot of LEGO faces aren't really going to be accurate because that's kind of here or there, but never has young Boba done that face. I don't think he's ever really smirked like that, and I just don't think it fits the character that well. His belt is technically the wrong color. It's definitely closer than what it used to be. It used to be black. However, I don't think it's brown in universe. I think it's closer to what Steve's legs look like right there. So I personally think that the belt should have been this blue color rather than the brown or the black. Finally, you can't talk about this figure and not mention the hairpiece. It's not a good choice for young Boba. The choice of Dev Griebling's hairpiece is beyond me, but it really does not fit young Boba at all. The only thing you can say is that it closer represents his hair when it's in the rain, but they didn't include his poncho, so... But the crazy thing is that no other hairpiece looks good on young Boba. I put on a couple different hairpieces to see how it would look, and other than like Han Solo's hairpiece, if it was in black, maybe that would have looked good, but none of them looked good. This character does not do good with hairpieces. Finally, here's the back. Now it's time we talk on a more positive note, because this Jango Fett figure is incredible and is easily the best Jango Fett we have ever gotten in LEGO. First of all, the arm printing is absolutely incredible. This is the first time we've ever gotten arm printing on a Jango Fett. It's on both of the arms. It looks absolutely fantastic. His torso and leg printing looks amazing, and he also has foot printing for the first time. There's only 2 critiques that this Jango Fett has received online, the first one being the gunmetal gray jetpack. Now, in my opinion, I believe that is a huge nitpick regarding the rest of the figure. Again, you can differ from that, but I just think that the figure is so good that the gunmetal gray jetpack is just kind of irrelevant. And I'm not the biggest stickler for colors. Obviously, I like these 2 characters, Withered Foxy and Dreadbear, and their colors, especially in Withered Foxy, aren't the most accurate, but I think their molds are fantastic. That's why I love them so much. So that's why I'm not making the biggest deal out of Jango's jetpack for being gunmetal gray instead of silver. Now, Jango's helmet is amazing. It's an updated version from the previous ones. It's not the biggest difference, however, it is noticeable. The most noticeable difference on Jango's helmet is the new rangefinder piece that they're using. It's way more accurate and it's not that fat, because some people were worried about that online. And here's what Jango looks with the rangefinder down. Now, Jango does get a face print and a hairpiece, and it looks amazing. Here it is compared to the other 2 versions of Boba Fett we have. And here it is compared to Cody Rex 5s and a traditional clone trooper. Here is his alternate face. It's kind of unfortunate that he doesn't get that big microphone thing he has when piloting the Slave 1. Finally, here is the back. So overall, I would give the figures about a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10, because we have one really good figure in Jango Fett, and we have one pretty disappointing figure in young Boba Fett. Now let's get to the stand and plaque of the UCS Slave 1. Here's the plaque of the set. We have the Star Wars logo there, a picture of the Slave 1 there. We have the name Jango Fett Starship, or Fire Spray, or Slave 1, whatever you want to call it, I don't care. And right below it, we have all the information. You can pause if you want to read that. Also, very fortunately, is that this is a print. This is not a sticker, which is amazing. The only thing is that the render hides the dimple, which is again a reason why I think that they should get rid of the renders altogether. The stand itself is almost identical to the OG UCS Slave 1. It is very slightly different, and it puts the Slave 1 at this very nice angle, like it's flying. These 2 hooks right here is what holds the Slave 1 in place. Now what you want to do is have one hand on the stand, and while holding the Slave 1, you can just line it up with the 2 hooks, and then just place the Slave 1 on the stand. And now let's talk about the star of the show, the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1. This thing is absolutely incredible. It makes the OG UCS Slave 1 from 2015 look dated. And that says a lot, because the 2015 set to a lot of people is a top 5 or top 10 UCS set ever. This really makes me want to have a new UCS Boba Fett Slave 1, just so you can have the 2 next to each other. Now, I want to mention one thing about the stand with the Slave 1 on it right off the bat. Now, there is an issue with this one as well as the older UCS Slave 1, where if you knock into the shelf or the stand it's on, essentially it will like fall back, as you can see, like that. So just be careful. If you knock into the shelf it's on, make sure it has like a wall behind it so it can catch it. This is an issue I haven't seen many people talking about, not because I think they're shills. I mean, M&R Productions didn't even pick up on this issue. The only person I saw pointed out was Jangbricks, so shout out to him for pointing out that issue. That's another reason why I think he's the best LEGO reviewer out there. Now let's say you're in an area that's prone to miniature earthquakes, or your house moves a lot, or you're a heavy walker. Well, how does the set stand? Well, it's wobbly, but it's not too bad. I think Obi-Wan's Interceptor is a bit worse at the wobble, but it is still quite wobbly. But with that aside, let's actually move on to the Slave 1 itself. First of all, the build of the set was very fun. It's very interesting how everything came together while building the set. Some things that I thought were going to be a lot harder to build and a lot more complex were very simple, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's very interesting how everything comes together, and I would say it was a great build experience. Starting at the very tip of the nose, we have these dual blasters here, which move in unison, and they almost move 360 degrees, which is pretty cool. I just want to note that these right here can kind of become a little dislodged if you like knock into it, and these ones especially can fall off quite easily. And where you see these yellow bits, they are technically in universe supposed to be guns that pop out. However, due to design constraints, they are stagnant, which is not the biggest deal. Now moving up the Slave 1, we have some very, very nice detailing with greebling. Very nice mixture of studs and tiles. Also, both sides of the Slave 1 are symmetrical, so I'll only show you one side. What is probably the strangest sticker on the set is this one right here. They decided to sticker up the entire piece instead of just making the yellow bit a sticker. They did that with this piece too, which again, it's kind of odd. The skirt looks fantastic as well. I love the shaping. It's just amazing. Now, technically, these two pieces right here on both sides should be colored as green instead of gray. The only thing is that those don't exist in Lego yet, but it's kind of weird that they decided to make a bunch of new pieces for the set, but not wanting to recolor some old ones. The only reason I'm not making the biggest deal out of it is because A, it kind of looks cool, like it's kind of like scratches out of the Slave 1, and B, Republic Bricks just completely botched up his design for his Slave 1 because this whole area on his is blue, and this, all like the green bits are black on his, and no one talked about it. The only reason I really brought that up is because I love ragging on Republic Bricks. Let's continue with the review. Here we have more great detailing, some good greebling. It looks amazing, and the winglets look fantastic. They move like that, and they actually move in unison, which is fantastic. So here we have the Slave 1 off of its stand, and as you can see, the wings move with gravity, so that's very cool. Now with the Slave 1 off of its stand, we can take a good look at other details it has. One of my favorite bits of the Slave 1 to build was this section right here. It just comes together so nice. Just be a little careful with this yellow piece right here because it can be dislocated a little easily. But the angling here is just absolutely fantastic. It's so clean. And here's what the other side of the Slave 1 looks like. But what is easily my favorite feature on this UCS Slave 1 is the feature where you can just press this down and it opens the door to the cockpit. Let's get another shot at it from this angle. It's just so cool, it's so smooth, and it's so easy to build. I thought this would be a lot harder. Once again, no spoilers, but it's so easy to build. And you have plenty of room to put a figure in that area, which is nice. And just for fun, can you fit Han Solo and Carbonite in this area? Well, you can. The only thing is that some of the pieces will block him from entering. Now to close this up, all you need to do is push this down and you're good to go. And also, here's what the back of the nose looks like. It's really cool that they tiled it off. Here's what the back of the Slave 1 looks like. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's cool how much detail that they were able to pack back here, and you're actually kind of able to see how they were able to make the skirt. Here, it just looks like a face. It looks like Professor Hugh Yang. However, this is accurate to the Slave 1, and also this little red bit is also accurate to the Slave 1. Now, right here, there is the seismic charge, which is a very cool inclusion. The only problem with this area is that you actually have to remove these panels yourself. They don't move automatically. Apparently that was a consideration. The only thing is the design just restricted it. Here we have the seismic charge. It looks fantastic. The only thing is that everything you see here is a sticker. Now, I don't have the biggest problem with stickers. The only problem I have is that these pieces right here are usually printed for astromech droid heads. Why couldn't they have been printed here? Now, another problem people have been having, let's say if you were to miss and the thing falls down in there. What you would want to do is you would want to open this up. Oh, wait a minute, it's not in there, and unfortunately, I can't reach my fingers down in there. Currently, the seismic charge is in this area of the internal structure, so I cannot push this door down. What you would want to do is pick the Slave 1 up and just start shaking it until the seismic charge comes out of this area. I really wish they included like 3 or 4 more pieces to keep the seismic charge from falling in there. Now let's move to the interior of the Slave 1. First of all, we have a sticker here and a sticker here. This sticker isn't perfect. It still doesn't match the color of the white. However, I would much rather it be this color than this color. And this cockpit piece is fantastic. It's beautiful, and it was exclusively made for this Slave 1. And to take it off, all I need to do is pull it like that, and you're good to go. First of all, we have a cool little Easter egg right here, Uvu 4. That's where Jango Fett stole the Slave 1. And on the inside, we have a total of 5 seats for figures, which is great. And what's also great is this entire section right here can just pop out. This area is where you're going to be putting Jango and Boba. We have plenty of consoles right here. It looks great. I did misplace that sticker. Ignore that. Here's what it looks like with Jango and Boba on it. Now you're going to have to remove a bunch of Jango's accessories. So what you're going to want to do is just go in here, take this little sub-assembly out. So this is where Jango's accessories go. We actually have a little back to tank Easter egg right there. That's actually where Jango's jetpack goes. Just be careful because it's not on there too well. Now that this is back in there like that, to get this section back in there, all you need to do is just line it up with the rails and you're good to go. You don't have a place for Jango's helmet though, which is kind of odd. And here's what it looks like with Jango and Boba in the cockpit. By the way, if you remove this section right here, you are able to fit Jabba the Hutt with the canopy piece on. That is how big the interior is. Now with all that said, let's go on to the closing notes of the UCS Jango Fett's Slave 1. So overall, what do I think about the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1? I think it's fantastic. I love this model to death. I'm so happy I have it. It is amazing. If you are a fan of Jango Fett or the Slave 1 or both, you are going to love this model. Yes, $300 is a lot of money. I will not deny that. You are still going to love this model regardless. Plus, if you have the 2022 Obi-Wan Jedi Starfighter, it is a great complement to the UCS Slave 1. They just go great together. Plus, I think both of these models are very close, if not at minifig scale, which is absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I think I'm going to put Jango Fett Slave 1 at a 9 or 9.5 out of 10. Couple things here and there that I think that needs to be fixed. Overall, it is a fantastic model, and I really, really recommend it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Bye. Back at it again, the field trip vlog series. This time I'm doing Williamsburg, Virginia. This time it's gonna be 4 parts, but yeah, I'll see you guys in like a week when I get out of here.